Hello golfers, Bryan Pate here. I want to talk about lies and how they affect your golf ball. This comes to you from a request from Instagram. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or a video you'd like to see, go ahead and leave a note down below. Love to get in touch with you. If you want more in-depth information, take a look at my website, bryanpategolf.com. There's a lot of videos on there with more in-depth detail of these topics. But what I have here is I have 4 golf balls laid out. The first golf ball is on a tee, just a little baby tee. That way there's going to be no interference between the club face and the golf ball. The next one is sitting down on the fairway with a little bit of grass behind it. The third one is sitting halfway down in the rough, so that now there's getting a little bit thicker grass behind it. And the fourth one is sitting all the way on the ground. So now there's a lot of grass I have to go through to get to that golf ball. So let's hit the first one here and use this as our baseline. And I'm going to try to hit the same shot, the same speed, everything the same, and see how the grass changes this. And I'm using an 8-iron here. So there was a pretty good strike. Because it's on a tee, it caught it a little bit higher up in the face. But if we look at that, I'll take a screenshot and put this up so you can see it. Club speed was 88 miles an hour. Launch angle was about 20. Ball speed 115, carried about 153, 54 yards. Smash factor 1.32, and the spin rate about 8,300 RPMs. I typically launch my 8-iron just a little bit higher than normal. So the next one, now we're going to have a little bit of grass behind the ball, and as I put my club down behind it to take the grip, I can definitely see some blades of grass starting to stick up. So let's see if I can have roughly around the same speed here. There's a pretty good one. And as I look at the club face, now there's some grass residue left on there. As I look at the information, that's pretty close to the same speed, 87 miles an hour. But the launch angle went from 20 to 22. The spin rate, just with a little bit of grass behind it, dropped all the way down to 4,800 RPMs. The smash was still pretty good. The carry was roughly the same. So that golf ball launched higher with less spin. So that was the golf ball you see where you almost catch a flyer, where the ball goes a little bit farther than you expect, just because there's not much spin on it. It's almost like hitting a driver on a high launch angle. So I'm going to clean this off. Got a little wet towel here. Wipe it off, dry it off, make sure it's dry. So now we're to the third golf ball, sitting halfway down in the rough. So we're going to have the same feel. 87-ish miles an hour. Try to launch it roughly the same. Ooh, a little harder to get through that grass. Now as I look, there's more grass on there because there's more grass behind it. And I think of the grass as pillows. The more pillows I have stacked up behind the golf ball, it's like if I was holding a bunch of pillows in front of me and someone's going to hit me, I'm not going to feel it into my body, where if I had nothing, I'd definitely feel it. So that one, same club speed, 87 miles an hour. Again, launched up. So that was 22 degrees of launch. Ball speed starting to come down, 106. Actually carried longer. So that was 100, almost 60 yards. Smash 1.22, and the spin rate dropped all the way down to 2469 on that one. So there's a high launching golf ball with just enough spin to keep it in the air. It's kind of like the driver, where we can launch the driver up to the air, have about 2,000, 2,500 to keep it in the air. That golf ball is going to go quite a distance. So let's wipe that off again. Make sure it's dry. Get rid of all that residue that's on there. And now we're coming up to our fourth golf ball. This guy's buried in the ground. So I got to make sure to get down to the bottom of the ground to have that solid strike. Let's see if we can have another 87 mile an hour 8-iron here. So that one definitely took more energy to get down to the golf ball. As we look at this, the club speed's gonna disappear just because I had interference for TrackMan to pick up with the grass flying around. But we can still take a look at the launch angle. Launch angle went up even more. That was actually struck pretty good. There's a little bit of residue, but not much. So this was some thin grass in there. So I didn't have too tough a time to get to the golf ball, just like the suspended one. That carried 150 yards, but the spin rate was 32.47. So now that I made a little divot here, let me see if I can put the golf ball in that divot. Fluff up the ground. There's a good one. Trying to put as much grass as I can behind it. There's not a lot of rough here because they just mowed. But we'll try to have the same swing again. So now we're introducing a fifth ball. So when I definitely felt it, got all the way down to the ground, took that divot. Now we're starting to see the launch angle going up more. There's more residue on the face. I didn't wipe it off because we're going through a bunch of grass again. So it's just going to add more. Ball speed, 104 roughly. Smash is starting to come down. Carried a little bit shorter. So if I had more rough behind it, there'd be less speed transferred to the golf ball. This golf ball is going to start going shorter, shorter, and shorter. And the spin rate's going to start coming down more and more and more until it starts to knuckle. So there's a quick little look. Let me screen shoot that one so I could put it in the video for you about how the lies dictate what we can do. If I have a clean lie, that's going to launch like normal. The ball speed's going to be our normal, what we are going to see. Spin rates are going to be under control. As we start introducing some grass, moisture, this could be dewy mornings, water, or think of the grass as little moisture packets. The more water I splash onto the face, that's going to reduce the contact and the friction. That ball's going to launch higher and spin less. So as you're coming to your lie, dictate what's that lie going to give me. If that golf ball's sitting down and there's going to be a lot of pillows in between the face and the ball, we might just be better off grabbing a lofted club, getting it back into play, especially if we're playing on some thick, heavy rough. If it's a lighter rough, we might be able to get through that. We're still going to lose some control of the contact. We're going to lose some of that speed. The golf ball is going to launch higher with less spin. We could get some flyers coming out, so it's going to go farther than you're used to. If we get more grass behind it and it slows the ball speed down, it's going to start going shorter, shorter, and shorter. So use this idea in the full swing and also around the chipping green of what's around that golf ball, how's that going to affect my stock shot, and what changes should I make. Always get that golf ball back to play so you can advance the next one better than trying to move the golf ball in trouble to another place that's in trouble. So if you have any questions, thoughts, or concern, like I mentioned, go ahead and list them down below. Love to hear back from you, and hopefully this helps.